Welcome back to Bliss Package. It's your host JUS Blaze, man. What's up, fellas? What's going on? I got Easy in the building. I got Knight in the building. Hey, PAT had to punch the clock, so he ain't here. It's just the three of us. Well, what's going on, fellas? How y'all doing today?
Doing pretty good.
Easy,
I've had
you okay, man?
I've had better days, had better days.
Okay,
We
okay.
in the building. We here.
There
We
will
here. We
be
in the building.
good days.
Yo, so I'm gonna get my hot take out the way. It's a two-part hot take. And Knight, before you jump on me, let me finish my stuff.
Hey,
Okay,
hey,
okay.
hey, hey.
So first one. First hot take is I'm tired of these analysts and these beat writers and everything else saying that, when the SEC teams lose to someone they're not supposed to lose to, it's the SEC is beating up on the SEC. When it happens in any other conference, it's they're playing down to the level of the team they're playing and it's bad. Like everybody play football the same way. Don't no play big football differently. I'm sick of the uh special treatment, special positives, and special spins that get said because there's no excuse for or just beating each other up when Alabama lose to Vandy, okay, and so forth and so on with the exceptions of teams that have upset people inside the conference. There's no reason that Miami losing to a three-loss Syracuse is a bigger deal than Ohio State losing to a five-loss Michigan at home. It's just like, hey, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's okay. But the SEC beat up each other. That's why they're not gonna get that many teams in. Or now we gotta look at all the lump sum three lost teams. That's some BS, man. I'm tired of that. And then the second one, this is for us directly as brothers. You know, I was listening to a pre-game show yesterday, riding down the road because I had to take care of some family business. Y'all know what that is. And someone said, something? I miss when Spurrier and Dabo was going at each other in this rivalry. It seemed like this rivalry has gotten a little too nice. Okay. And then I proceed to see about seven fights and rivalries yesterday, either before or after the game. Like, I don't know if our rivalry that lost its chippiness to it. And I just want to get y'all thoughts on it or what. And night before you say, I saw what the fans did, but you know what I'm talking about. It seemed like the chippiness done got away from it a little bit because Shade and Dabo like each other. They've been friends for a long time coaching, and they actually have a high esteem. But fellas, talk to me. What y'all got?
I'm gonna just
Uh,
say,
Go ahead, easy.
yeah. I'm gonna just say this, man. One of the reasons I think the rivalry has kind of died down a little bit is because a lot of the transfers in and out of state. Like back in the day, a lot of the recruits were from the state of South Carolina. So that was like that's homegrown like rivalry. So when you talk about hate week, that's real. You know what I mean? So you grew up rooting against like Clemson or Carolina your whole life. You got people coming in from, Florida, Tennessee. Georgia, they don't really care about that, right? They like, hey, it's another game. I get it, they're a rivalry, but I ain't about to go fight for it. You know what I mean? So that's what I say on that point. And to your point about, how they be talking about these other teams and SEC this, ACC that, you gotta play your schedule at the end of the day. And to your point, you can't go and make an excuse that, hey, I'm over here struggling like Ole Miss and Mississippi State. Yeah, you're a rival, but you're struggling with them. Like you can't go and say, hey, we got three losses. SEC's hard. Man, stop crying, man. Schedule's the schedule.
Come on, Night man. You ain't gonna sit back there and be quiet. Come on, brother.
Nah, I mean, I put it into a different light and a different perspective when it comes to certain conference biases, right? And I don't want to make this political, but I want to bring home my point, and this may be the best example I can, right?
Okay.
They have something called black on black crime, right? But there's no such thing called white on white crime. Not to say that it doesn't exist, but they
Hmm.
don't have a name for it. There's no handle for it, right?
Okay. Fair
So,
enough.
you know what I'm saying? So when in conference teams are beating up on themselves, it looks a little different. It looks a little bad. I mean, it kind of places you in and out of the conference or into different ranks when you're beating up on your kindred. Um, but I don't think the the rivalry has been watered down for Clemson and Carolina. I think in some regards it's been taken to social media and the fans have taken it over a little bit more. But I think the disrespect comes after the game. I saw a clip this morning of some things I don't think I would have done, but they were done um, in Clemson's house, which was, I think, disrespectful. But it adds to the chippiness. It adds to the rivalry. It adds to some of the gestures that are made, for lack of better terms, in the streets. But I think, like overall, like to Easy's point, like having a lot of these hometown heroes play elsewhere, and we're kind of getting implants into both systems, or more so Carolina. It does take away some of the hometown, the in-state kind of grit, grime, and dirtiness. But I think a lot of the South Carolina, Clemson, just beef has been taken to the fans, and these players are letting the scoreboards talk more so than anything else now.
Okay, man. I deal with that. Hey, man, we're gonna get into our game in a second. Let's talk about some other stuff so we get it out the way. Okay. But if it's okay with y'all, I'm gonna hold off on the standings for regular season and stuff since PAT is not here, so we all here. Okay. All right.
I know.
So let's.
But speaking of that, and I want to put this on wax. I want to put this on wax. Terrell,
Oh,
don't forget you owe Pat a steak dinner with all the sides.
what did I bet again? I don't can't remember what I said.
You
What I
bet
say?
that Clemson was going to beat Carolina, and Pat said put a steak dinner on it.
He don't even like steak though.
He said that
Don't
one.
try to backpedal now.
He don't even like steak though. He like his brother, man. He like to eat lettuce
Chicken.
and chicken broth.
Hey, bro. Hey, easy. Them chicken titties be good though.
Yeah, man.
Them
Yeah,
breast.
man. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I figured out. Hey, look, man, I might just fire up the grill and have to and cook it myself. Okay.
God,
Tell
dog.
tell him come to the house. I got his dinner on the grill.
Chicken tits.
I left that one alone. That's why I'm keep rolling. Okay.
Oh man.
So hey man, there was a lot of big rivalries, a lot of big upsets as this week. And we talked about last week some games we didn't get this week like we normally did. But like Easy said, man, Mississippi State had Mississippi on the ropes until the last 6 minutes of the fourth quarter. I mean, Vandy took it to Tennessee, and they turned the ball over a couple times and had a good away. And the score looked lopsided, but Notre Dame was getting punch for punch from USC until the boy threw two pick sixes. And when I say two pick six, I mean two. Both of them went for 100 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Understand? They were in the end zone. Both they picked it off in the end zone and ran it to the other end zone. Like I don't know the last time a college team had two 100-yard interception returns in the same game.
That lets you know. That lets you know that USC. I mean, they trashed this year, but that rivalry, man, it put a little bit of juice on you. Cause yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot. But
And just so I can say this, like PAT, I told you, you asked a question, you said when the Miami and Syracuse come a rivalry. I said back in the Big East, it's always been there, and it's real. Because Syracuse is like, look, you're not gonna come in the dome. I told Knight, didn't I tell him? I said Syracuse always gets somebody in the dome every year.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Which I mean, it helped us out. Appreciate it. Good look. But so What game? Because I know I didn't get to see all of them, but what game was the best rivalry game this week? This week?
It
Because
was two.
it was two.
Yeah.
Hey, go ahead, speak on it. You said two. What's going on?
The first one, and I know almost is incredible unless you're playing hand grenades and horseshoes, right? That Georgia Tech Georgia game, boy. I
yeah,
told you Georgia Tech, like they came to play, but it also shows you like I picked Georgia Tech, and I know I ended up losing that, but 8 overtimes, bro.
Hmm.
Everybody damn tired. Like the announcer tired.
Everybody
Like
tired.
everybody tired. You know what I'm saying? But I think that kind of goes to just the fight that Georgia Tech has. Now, the second game that I really enjoyed, and I spoke to this yesterday, that Carolina Clemson game. For me, it's always going to be the best game that I see, right? But seeing some of the top defenses in the country play, and like it was just a defensive game because we both know Carolina been running up the numbers on folks all season as well as Clemson, right? For them boys not even to break 20, 21 points, that's some good football, dog. Like, and you got teams out here scoring 49 and 30 points.
Well,
Yeah.
some teams scored 66 points.
And that's cool. But
Oh
we
yeah,
know one team that
yeah,
didn't get that couldn't even get 15 points.
man.
Yeah, Florida State. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Florida State.
Nah, but it's like it's one of those things where for me, and I may not always give it the just or the credit it deserves, but I always think like that Carolina Clemson is a good one. Um, and now more so than ever, like Georgia Tech starting to become that old '90s Georgia Tech team again. So that Georgia Tech Georgia, I mean, I'm an SEC guy. Like I don't hate on the ACC, but I like some of the teams in the ACC. So
Yeah. And
So
to your point, further your argument from earlier, Blaze, you got an ACC team in Georgia Tech taking Georgia to the wire, right? And they
to the
had
wire.
plenty of opportunities. Once they started going back and forth in the overtime, I was like, this is how Georgia sneaks around and wins this game. But tonight's point, Carolina Clemson, I mean, I couldn't sit down. I couldn't sit down. It didn't go well, but I'll tell you another game. I know you're gonna get into it later. That had me on pins and needles. Is that Miami and Syracuse game because I was watching that like, come on, man, come on.
Okay. Okay.
We can get
We can get
into it,
into
but
that.
boy,
We can get into that, but I want to get into this Georgia Tech game real quick because this is another reason why I'm pissed. I need somebody. I need somebody to explain to me and show me when you by video when you watching it what targeting is. Because I am sick of these referees not calling targeting and then reviewing stuff and clearly see the target in it. Because in all honesty, that Georgia Tech game should have never made it to overtime because when my old boy fumbled the ball, that was target on the play. You reviewed the the fumble to see if he actually lost it. Was he down? Was his knee down? Everything, but you can't clearly see. Now, y'all know Unc, man. Unc hit me on the phone watching the game. He was like, "You see that?" I said, "Did you see the target in it?" Though he said, "It kind of was." I'm like, not only that, Miami had a targeting call that was picked up in Cal. There was a couple of targeting calls all through the season. I just want to know what is targeting because what I've seen definition of targeting is they are missing it, dropping the ball, or they just saying, "Hey, no, we're gonna turn our head to it." I don't understand, but like I said, man, we got 8 overtimes, pulls to the wire. Is that gonna hurt Georgia? They only won by 4 points at home on a game they were favored by double digits.
I'll tell you what targeting is when you have a shopping list and you head into Target and you buy everything more than what you wanting to buy on your list. So that's targeting. That's going to Target and just buying the whole store. That's targeting. Because clearly the refs can't see what targeting is. Um, and I agree that call there shifted the game, and I was hoping it would shift it still in the favor of Georgia Tech to kind of get that momentum because in my head, I'm going back to that Carolina Michigan game when the ball was clearly short of the first down and they gave them the first down and then we just rocked their head off and
mm-hmm.
won the game.
Yeah.
But I was looking for that. But I mean, there needs to be more defined and well put out um, instances of what targeting is for these referees and get a united front because I know y'all know, like there's ACC refs, there's SEC refs, Big Ten, Pac-12, all there's referees from everywhere, and there'd be three or four of them or five of them that play from different conferences or work different conferences in one game. So there's no union in what targeting is or isn't. So
Yeah, it's a little bit too much discretionary judgment that goes on with that. It does need to be clearly defined because that changes the game. You lose momentum. I mean, yeah.
All right, so we're gonna touch on this briefly because we need to get to championship week and talk about the effects and CFP. So who want to go first? Knight, you want to go first and tell me your thoughts of the game, or Easy, you want to go first? I don't have a whole lot to say. I got a couple 2 cents here and there, but who wants to take the coin on this one first,
I,
man?
I'll go ahead because I'm gonna be.
Okay, this is a
I saw some good things. There was obviously some good things, but some of the things that we talked about beforehand, tackling was still kind of poor. There was a lot of arm tackling, a lot of but Lenore Sellers, he's elusive. And just catching the ball, man. We had too many like opportunities and it just seemed like when we needed it, we couldn't convert. But that's all I gotta say, man. That Lenore
oh,
Sellers,
that's all you have to say.
that's all I gotta say, man.
Okay.
he wants to
I-
keep the podcast PG. Because if for our viewers, if you could read our text message, there was a lot of flowery language said yesterday after the game.
Yeah.
But to Easy's point, like on both sides, catching the ball, tackling, and just converting. Because I'll say this for both quarterbacks, there was a lot of interceptions. That was a little odd to me.
Well, they both only threw one. Technically, was there some dropped?
No, it wasn't necessarily dropped, but I mean, I don't know Cade to really throw one interception like he did, especially late in the game.
Oh,
Yeah.
the one that's the one I'm gonna talk about.
The turnovers, I'm just saying there was plenty of opportunities, but I get it. It's a rivalry game. But not being able to stop Lenore's, I mean, that boy is bad, man. I ain't gonna lie. He remind me of, Demetrius Summers when he was running around and you just like he not that fast, but he just so elusive. And you looking like, man, and Rocket,
Easy. I
man.
put it to like this. Um, Shout out to old Big Huey, right? Take Huey Dixon in size,
Mhm.
give him another 2 or 3 steps and a little bit more quickness. That's Lenore Sellers, boy. That joker is he's huge. The boy is huge. The
Yeah,
boy is big.
yeah.
But I was really looking at the game like I'm out at the chitlin strut down there in the country. I'm watching the game on my phone. And I'm looking for this game because y'all marched the ball down the field. I'm looking for y'all to kick a field goal for this thing to go into overtime.
Yeah, that made me mad.
Okay, hold on. Let me speak on this. Okay, look, I don't care what some people are saying. I understand not kicking a field goal on second down with 16 seconds left and you got a timeout. Let's take one shot. Let's take one shot, see if we can get this thing closer, especially since we have field goals blocked. How many field goals have we had
I,
blocked
I
this year?
I get it. I get you. You're right. I get it. It's been way too many. But I will say this: we always seem to play conservative in certain moments, and then in a moment like this, we're at home. This reminds me of like Florida State last year because we had opportunities. Not last year. Yeah, Florida State last year. We had
Last year.
opportunities in that game, and we played conservative. Play not to lose. And you can't, the game meant too much. The game meant too much for us to play conservative. That first drive when everybody say, hey, the analytics say you go for it in this situation, rely on your defense, take the points, man. Because you never know what that's gonna mean at the end of the game. And look, we would have been tied if we kicked that field goal.
That's true. That's true. But I'm just saying, it is nothing wrong on second down, 2nd and 10, going for it. Now, look, I'm gonna say this, and I know we're gonna move on a little bit, but man, that was the space between your big toe when you take your shoes off, your big toe and the grass is the space that man caught the ball with his fingertips. If he was a second later, not even a second, a half a second later, that ball would have touched the ground and have been incomplete. And I mean, and honestly,
It was a good
you know,
it was a good catch.
it was. I mean, it was a good catch. It was a miracle, amazing catch. I'm gonna say it like that. And honestly, Easy, you talked to somebody yesterday. Mike G said that hey, the ball was thrown behind him a little bit, and I get that he was running, which I mean, our offensive line, from my understanding, held up. They only gave up one sack. Where South Carolina has a very, this is probably the best defensive line South Carolina's had since Clowney and Ingram was on that line.
Yeah, that was a long time ago, bro.
I know, but they held up.
But you saw the strategy was get the ball out quick.
He get the ball out quick. So, and my thing, I don't know if the ball was behind them or Maffa just ran too fast or what. It was a miscommunication with that in
It-
that play.
that wasn't the
But we
only
lost the
one.
game.
That wasn't the only one. Cade was throwing the ball behind receivers a lot.
He wasn't giving them time to kind of
Develop that route.
develop the route and just ensure they were running the proper route. Because a lot of times, like even if he was throwing it to him, based on what shoulder it was underthrown to, the route wasn't run right.
Okay, so my question is, and y'all know why I'm asking this question because I didn't really see everything. Was he throwing it behind and short, or was he being rushed and he was just getting the ball out?
I wouldn't say he was being rushed, but he wanted to ensure that he didn't get too much pressure on him. He was getting that ball out quick,
Yeah.
and that's
Okay.
something that he normally does. He usually has a little bit more time in the pocket. Just from my viewership of watching Clemson and Cade this season. I'm not like I still like the guy, but I think in a foot race, and Lenore to tear his ass up.
Yeah.
The foot
I'm
race,
gonna
absolutely.
I'm gonna be honest, man. I really wasn't watching sellers like that because of course I'm not watching the Gamecocks, but man, it just he was a difference maker. He was a difference maker, and we couldn't contain him. Um, everybody was playing coverage and doing a great job playing coverage, but if you don't contain them, it's going to be an issue, and that that's
Okay,
that's what that's what happened.
I'm gonna say this, and I want to give y'all something, and we're gonna move on. Easy, I don't agree with you, and I'm gonna tell you why I don't agree with you.
And what?
One, I have watched Sellers this season because you gotta keep your enemies close. Okay, we the containment of him wasn't a problem because he was contained. Matter of fact, on that last touchdown they scored to that would put them up 17, his ass was contained. The problem is couldn't nobody grab him. He literally wiggled between four people within 3 yards, and it was like he had butter on his arms, and you went to go grab him, and you just slid off.
When I think of containing the quarterback, I'm thinking you're not allowing him to get outside of the pocket.
Well, okay. Well, my idea of containment is you are there, and you in right position and everything else. Now you have a job to do. If you get shut out of position, that you didn't do your job, but you were there.
We couldn't get him on. Yeah, we couldn't get him on the
Yeah, we
ground.
could we couldn't get them on the ground. Which
Couldn't get him on the ground.
everybody had a problem getting on the ground. Even the teams that they beaten, teams that they lost, everybody has had a problem getting that dude on the ground.
Well,
I
I tell you like
literally,
this. I don't recall the guy's number, but as he was encroaching on that end zone, he juked one of the guys, and the guy's like, "Oh gosh," and he didn't even try to go after him. So,
That's that fear, man. Strike a big moment.
hmm. So I want to give this shout out, and then we're gonna move on to the CFP week. I mean, these championship week and everything else, and these matchups. This is a shout out to K. Klubnik or North Sanders for the season they had. So Cabe threw for over 3,000 yards this year with 29 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. Ran for 437 yards and 7 touchdowns this year. Okay, Maffa had 1,000 yards and 8 touchdowns. All right, and the North Sanders. even though I'm shocked. Night, I'm shocked by this number. I thought this number would be higher. Okay, but Noah Sanders threw for 20 a little bit over 2,200 yards this year with 17 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Ran for ran for 655 yards with 7 touchdowns. And Rocket Sanders this year had what 881 yards and 11 touchdowns. So we had some very productive people in the state this year. I'm not gonna go down the long list of receivers because I think receiving wise, both teams had very decent, servable receivers this season. Hey, Knight, remind me. I gotta ask you a backstory on something I heard about Antonio Williams a little bit later.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah. We gotta verify that.
Um, but yo, I just shout out. Much as I hate losing to them chickens, y'all still chickens, Knight. I don't care. And much as I hate losing, um, we it was a good game. We've done our thing, and we're gonna see what happens and shakes out. Uh, but easy. I got a bigger problem with Dabo. I'm just gonna tell you this on wax so you can hear it,
Mhm.
and then we're gonna move on. This is the sixth time that he's coached a team that was ranked versus a South Carolina team that he was ranked and he ain't won.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I got a bigger problem with that.
I was telling everybody the last time that we won at home, well, we won period when both teams were ranked was 2000. Rod
Hmm.
Gardner, the catch.
Hmm.
All those years with Taj, we lost all of them,
Yeah.
right? And South Carolina, they kind of fell off the beat path when we was playing with
Look, I mean, if correct me if I'm wrong, Knight, this is the first time South Carolina's been ranked since the Spurrier Clowney days, correct?
When we played Clemson, yeah, like in 22, we weren't ranked.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah. It's been a little while since he's been ranked and everything, but he got to figure out that he got to figure out something.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
We keep talking about the opportunities that we have to get into, playoffs and increase our ranking, and then you play a good South Carolina team. And regardless, the game was good. The game was good. You want it to be competitive, but at the end of the day, we are at home. Clemson's at home. You got to find a way to win that game.
This is I had to look at it, and if I'm accurate, this is the first time we've lost more than one game at home since Deshaun's freshman year, and that's because he didn't start the whole season.
Yeah.
We lost two that year. That was 13. Since 13, this is the first time we've lost more than one game at home.
Let me ask you this.
Uh-huh.
And I might be jumping the gun here, but do you think that SMU is better than South Carolina?
Better. You ain't jumping the gun. We can get into it. To answer that question, I would say they're better on offense, in my opinion. But their quarterback is not as lucid as South Carolina's. But I don't think their defense is as tight as South Carolina's. If I'm being honest, like if you look at the games and the structure and everything of SMU, the best two teams they have played this year will probably be Pitt and Virginia and Boston College. I mean, three Boston College. The other better team they played was BYU, and they lost to BYU by 1 point, but still.
Hmm.
But I don't think SMU's defense is as good as South Carolina's defense, but I do think their offense is more prolific than South Carolina's offense.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So since you want to do that, let's go ahead and get in here. Thanks to the Orange Men of Syracuse, New York, upstate. Appreciate it.
Discouraging,
Okay.
discouraging Syracuse.
Okay. They upset Miami and gave them another conference loss, which allowed our Clemson Tigers to get into the ACC championship game, which they have not lost when playing in the ACC championship game under Dabo. If they made it to the game, they have not lost that game under Dabo, and everything. But we are going to be playing SMU, who has lost one game. Like I said, they lost to BYU, I
Hmm.
believe, on the road by a point. Um,
And they just
and it's
beat
going
them.
to be very interesting.
They,
It's
they just
it's
beat
going to be
them.
interesting because
Yeah,
that offense is prolific. I'm not
I
going to
just
even
hope
sugarcoat it.
I just hope y'all don't lose to that HBCU.
Ooh, we never gonna live that down.
Hey
Easy,
man,
you never gonna live that down, bro.
it's all good. It's all good. It's all good, man. It's
Hey,
all
Okay.
look,
good in the playoffs.
we,
Um,
we we got to have something to talk about. We got to have something to laugh about. We got to have something to cry about. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Um, you know what I thought? I thought that that's where Shannon Sharp went, but he went to Savannah State, not
Right.
SC.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
BTU.
yeah,
But I mean, it's gonna be interesting in everything. Cause like I said, um, I think the best defense SMU has faced is probably been Pitt on their schedule. Our defense is as good as Pitt, especially when healthy. And that's the difference from the Pitt game. I mean, we had three starters not even playing that game on defense. Um,
yeah.
but
One thing I want to say, Blaze, is like teams change during the season, right?
yeah,
Like, you might have a few losses at the beginning of the season, but then, you've gotten better. So a lot of these teams that they were just blowing out have got better throughout the season. Like Louisville got a little bit better, Pitt got a little bit better. I mean, so some of these
yeah.
wins that they have are, it's just the time, some of it's timing too.
I mean, but yeah, look at Notre Dame. They lost to NIU, Northern Illinois University, and that's the only loss they have
Hmm.
for the whole season. And they've gotten better and played better teams. But it's gonna be interesting, man. We got championship week. It's gonna shake out a lot of the playoffs shakeups and standings and who's going what, who's in, who's not. But while
Yeah.
we own the game, let's go ahead and just pick it while we here. So easy. I know where you going with. Me and you taking the Tigers all day. The question is, Knight, are you in the fog of your your
Hold
the,
up. It ain't no fog.
your
It's clear, boy. That was clear sky. It was 12 noon. Wasn't no fog in that loss for y'all.
the midst of the next the what we have to deal with for the next
It's
365
gonna
until
be
this
a
game
long
is played
year.
again. Um, are you taking the Clemson or are you taking the newcomers to the conference? And we're gonna get to newcomers. Um, SMU in this game, man.
Give me let me be the adversary. Let me be the buster of the kahunas. Give me SMU. I want to see a good game. Like I don't want to just see a complete utter like blowout and y'all welcome them to the ACC championship and the ACC conference. Like, haha, you thought. I want to
That's what
see
I
some
want to
good.
see. That's what I want to see.
Well, you wanted to see a different outcome yesterday, and your vision is blurred. Um,
I got my glasses right here. I got my glasses right
clearly you ain't had them summer guns on.
here.
I'll tell you, man. You talk about what the crowd when he ran in for that last touchdown, man. I'm just sitting there like I can't. I went into the garage, got my Clemson flag. I was gonna drape it over my shoulders, like let's go, let's bring this to the house. I ain't even had time to put it on, man.
Hey, look.
Came in the
I
house,
thought
it was just defeat.
I thought it would. I thought when they got that false start on that 3rd and 11, and they went to the false start to 3rd and 16. I said, okay, all we got to do is keep them from scoring a touchdown. Even if they get yards, just keep them from the end zone. And then
Mhm.
dang nabbit, the I mean, hey, I was in the car because I was sitting in the car with grandma. She can't move a lot, so I was in the car. I took my phone and literally threw it in the car and got out. And she said, "Baby, what happened with the game?" I said they lost. That's why I threw my phone.
I'm telling you, man, that was like when Bambi Mama got shot. That's how I felt, man. I was just sitting there
Oh
like,
Lord.
oh,
Hey, man, we got to get back on this. Speaking of newcomers, the Texas, when SEC heard that Texas and Oklahoma was coming in, there was a lot of SEC people saying these Big 12 schools can't come in our conference and do anything. They're gonna get murdered in our conference. And now Texas is going to the SEC championship game against Georgia, another newcomer to the conference against an old head of the conference. Now, granted, these two teams played earlier this year, and Georgia won, but Texas dang sure made it close at the end because I mean they got down a little bit and they came back and went and came back and made it close. But it's gonna be interesting because I don't know. A lot of people saying that it's guaranteed a lot no matter what happened with Georgia, whether they win or lose, they in the playoffs. I'm not so sure. But we got a newcomer to the league coming in and saying, hey, I'm in the conference game. What happened to all you rest of you old heads out here?
It's hard, Blaze, because the way the committee looks at things is, to me, it's not about wins and losses. It's who they feel should be there based on,
I
hey,
have a problem with that, but
I'm seeing the way they lost the game and whatnot. So that's why we put them in. Like, to me, it's not about wins and losses. So it's they might be right. It's hard to say. They're going off
hey,
feeling.
in the words of Herm Harris, you play to win the game. Okay, I have a problem with wins and losses not more of
Not
a factor. I'm not saying it needs to be been um in all be all, but it being as little as a factor as they keep making it is a little. I take a little problem to it. I took a little exception to that. But who you taking easy?
I'm rolling with Texas, man.
Okay.
The way Georgia looked in that last game, Georgia Tech, I know it's a rivalry game, but they haven't been looking good.
They've
Okay.
been skating by.
So Nate, who you taking, man?
Texas. Texas ain't gonna lose twice.
Mm-mm. Boy, I'm from Texas. Lose twice to the same team?
Nah.
You done beat everybody else?
You know, it's hard for me to pick this game out loud, but I'm
Hmm.
gonna do it.
Hold on. Let me get this on whack, cuz.
Hold on, man, Knight, man. I don't need no incriminating evidence. Okay, I don't. I think Texas gonna win this game only because Georgia seems to like to get off to a very slow start.
Hey, I couldn't hear
Um,
you speaking to your mic.
Yeah.
there's a reason for that.
Hey,
Reason
man.
for that. You try to get me hurt. Uh-oh.
ETN probably ain't playing either, right?
I don't. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure that's gonna be a game time decision.
Yeah. Because they've been playing that
Okay.
first.
Okay. So due to the upset of Ohio State in the Big House, that has catapulted Penn State into the Big Ten championship game. So we got Penn State versus Oregon. Again, the third conference with a newcomer in the championship game.
It's hard for me.
Hey,
It's hard for me to pick Penn State, man. I can't do it, man.
I'm not. I'm taking Oregon.
Yeah.
yeah, give me Oregon. Oregon look good, boy.
Yeah, they ain't lost. They haven't lost the game, right?
Yeah, they're the only undefeated team in college football. Period.
I can't
Did
stand
you
either
see
one
what
of
happened
them.
to that last year?
Um, all right, so you know, the Big 12 had a four-way tie with their championship spots. They had four teams and two spots. Arizona State won, so they in. And because everybody else won, Colorado won, Iowa State won, and BYU won because of the I think it's some combination of strength of record and highest rank. Iowa State will be playing Arizona State for the Big 12 championship. That means Colorado will not be in the championship game, which most likely means they will not make the playoffs. They're going to be playing for a high level bowl game, which is going to be real interesting to see it play. I have a feeling who I think they're going to end up playing if they don't make the playoffs. It's going to be between two teams, and they're both from the SEC. Which is going to make for good TV talking. But who y'all got, man?
In
Give me
which one?
Arizona State.
Arizona State, Iowa State.
Arizona.
Yeah, I'm taking the Sun Devils.
Let's go 5 points.
All right, and lastly but not least, this is not these out the way real quick. We got Tulane playing Army for the
Um,
championship game, and actually Army's gonna be hosting that, so it's the first like extra game that's being held in West Point, so it's a big deal. But who you got?
I'm gonna take Army, and Tulane is ranked, but I want it to be like that Cinderella story, man. I'm gonna take Army.
Okay, okay.
That's white.
Who you taking, Nate?
I'm gonna take Army too because I know like the next week they still got to play Navy.
Mhm.
Yeah. Hey man, hey look, we all on the same teams for all these picks except one game. Just because Knight went rogue. Then lastly but not least, we got UNLV and Boise State, which I mean, if Boise win, they have a good chance to make the playoffs because they'll be the highest group of five ranked team. If they win the championship, group of five champion ranked team. So who you got? I'm taking Boise State. I'm taking the
Yeah,
Broncos.
we taking Boise State, but Ohio State lost, so they probably gonna climb the chart a little bit.
You taking Boise or you taking UNLV? Night.
Man, you the one who like Vegas, boy. Give me Boise, boy.
All right. So okay. So let me ask y'all this. We're gonna get out of here. We're gonna pay some bill real quick. Like, how many teams get in from every conference? Real quick. Not who. Just how many. Now who we're gonna be? We're gonna save that conversation for next week.
They're gonna put in four SEC teams.
They not.
You don't think so?
No, it's gonna be three. You're gonna have three SEC teams, three Big Ten teams, Notre Dame.
You only gonna have
Seven.
yeah, you gonna have two ACC teams. SMU and Clemson both gonna get in there. Well, no, Clemson got
Yes,
to win. If Clemson
Clemson.
wins,
If Clemson win, both of them will get in.
yeah,
But what I'm saying is, it's gonna be three SEC teams, three Big Ten teams, Notre Dame, the Power Five team, the winner of the Big 12, and then the two ACC teams. Because Clemson won't win. But it's only gonna be three SEC schools to get in. The two
Oh,
people
okay.
in the SEC championship and Tennessee.
so you don't think that they're gonna sneak Alabama in?
No,
They're not gonna find a way to sneak them in.
I don't think
Alabama
so.
couldn't find a way to sneak themselves in.
I
Yeah,
mean,
They were bad.
but in all honesty, I don't think so. But if they continue the trend that they're ranking, Alabama and Ole Miss will be ranked in front of South Carolina because they both beat South Carolina. So if a fourth team does get in from the SEC, it will be one of them. And I'm just talking the way they what they're doing now. This ain't no ill will towards
No,
losing. We
look, I
lost
get it. I'm eager to see where we're going to be ranked after yesterday.
because I'm gonna be honest, and we got to get out of here. When they did the rankings on Tuesday, I was surprised because the week before that, Clemson and South Carolina was back to back with each other. I was surprised there was a gap between us, but I understood why because they put Alabama and Ole Miss there since they lost because they beat South Carolina. Because of that, and they both won their rivals. At the end, it was kind of handily. I believe they're still going to stay in front of South Carolina. They all going to move up because we lost, Miami lost, some other teams lost, Ohio State lost, but they're going to keep them in front of y'all. And because of that, if a fourth SEC school gets in, I believe it will be one of them, not South Carolina. That's my 2 cents on that.
I
But
believe
closing
they,
words, man, we got to get out of here.
I believe they might squeeze South Carolina in at 12, and somebody gonna get kicked out.
Like
you
based
got
on what they're doing, who you kicking out?
you got Miami
Like
and Ohio State, but you to your point, like if you talk about losses, that's gonna be
because because no, I take that back. The Big Ten might get a four team in. Only one conference is gonna get four teams in, and I think it's gonna lean towards the Big Ten
yeah. Because I mean, what you got if you keeping Ohio State and Penn State,
and Oregon and Indiana. You gotta think only loss Indiana has is to Ohio State.
But Ohio State might they might end up kicking their asses all the way out.
But that's why I said if there's a fourth team from any conference, it most likely will be the Big Ten. It won't be the SEC because of all the losses. That's what
yeah.
I'm saying.
I mean, man, you can't lose to unranked teams like that when you have that much when the spread is that much. I was a 10.5, something like that. I
So you
think,
talking about Ohio State?
yeah, Michigan was getting like 10.5 points or 11.5,
I
something like
thought it was
that.
like 14.
Yeah, I know it was high. It was double digits. So
Yeah.
That's got to count for something. But
Yeah. All right, closing out. Let's close it out. Let's get out of here, pay some bills.
hey, congratulations to them chickens, man. It was a good game. I'm pissed that we lost at home at that. But I gotta give it to you tonight, man. We gotta deal with Lenore's for a little while here. So I'm just gonna keep it to myself, brother.
Appreciate it, man. CLEMSUX. Clem sucks.
Thank you. That message came from the lame cocks from South Carolina.
Hey, but stay in your corner in the state. Stay in your corner.
Wow, that's what we doing. Hey, look, man, it's gonna be a long 365 days, but easy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But the good thing is we ain't got to deal with that part-time chicken.
Yeah.
We ain't got to deal with that part-time chicken.
And what that man said, love thy neighbor on the last one.
Mm-mm. He should have said that to Florida. That's what it should have get said. All right, man. Hey, that's easy. That's night. I'm your host, JUS Blaze, man. Tell a friend, tell another friend, tell cousin and them, hey, Blitz package is out. Let's get it.
Yeah.